What's good, people? It's your boy Zayat back for another video. Today we've got What If Deku had a blood eclipse release. Let's just get straight into this. I don't want to waste any time. Our story starts with Inko Midoriya and Izuku Midoriya. But in this timeline, Izuku is the son of the pro hero Vlad King. He doesn't care about hero life though. He's actually obsessed with guns. He gets told he's quirkless, but he doesn't care. He wants to join the military anyways. One day he's playing with a pistol, but he shoots the gun, thinking it was a blank. But that gun had a bullet in it. It hits his arm. He freaks out, staring. And then he starts yelling. Then he looks at that same gun. Suddenly the blood takes the form of the pistol. He freaks out. Inko and Vlad are shocked, thinking he was quirkless. Vlad knocks him out, since he starts randomly shooting around, firing everywhere, fearing he would hurt someone. Izuku's horns, his demon, his only horns, form while he's knocked out. Other quirk doctor, they don't think it's a quirk, but they just say it's a blood quirk like his dad, and he calls it only Eclipse. He's shocked, but his dream doesn't change. He still wants to join the military. But his dad doesn't care and says, "You will be a hero, boy." After that, we time skip to a point where Izuku's a bit rebellious, not wanting to become a hero. He dyes his hair blue and has a hairstyle more like Shiki Ichinose, but he's forced to train by Vlad. Eventually learning how to activate his quirk, he has to cut himself so blood spews out, and then say blood eclipse release, and the form of whatever gun he wants will take form from that blood. Eventually, after the 10-month training arc, he takes the normal entrance exam and does pretty well, not caring, just shooting around because it seems fun. Yet he's still a hero in a sense, so when Ochako is about to be crushed by the zero pointer, he shoots with an incredible gun at the zero pointer. And although he was aiming to be in around 21st to 41st place, because he knew this would get him in his dad's class 1B, beating the zero pointer put him in 5th place, which meant he was in class 1A. This was a problem, for if he was in class 1B, he would have been able to slack off a bit. By the end of the day, Vlad can't change this, and Izuku can't either. On the first day, Izuku enters and just walks in, and would try to go sit at the back, but all the seats are taken, so he just sits next to Bakugo. He puts his legs up and face down, trying to sleep, when Ida comes, trying to reprimand Bakugo and Izuku, but Deku just fires a warning shot after whispering to himself, "Blood eclipse release." Ida freaks out, saying he just put a hole in school property. The shot also causes Aizawa to wake up. "Do you want to be expelled on your first day?" Aizawa would say. "Would that let me go to the army sooner?" Deku responded. "Okay, class, since the problem child wants to be funny, no orientation today. Get outside. We're doing an apprehension test, and whoever does the worst gets expelled." The entire class is shocked, saying he can't do that, but Aizawa says he doesn't care. When outside, everyone is staring at Deku, saying this is all your fault. Deku purposefully tries to come last, but Mineta is just that bad. But at the very end, when it's the ball throw, Aizawa says, "Young Midoriya, if you do not try, I will expel your whole class." Everyone is shocked and now pissed that their fates are on someone who wants to fail. But Izuku isn't heartless. When this happens, although he hates the idea of being a hero, he can't be an ender of someone else's dream. Aizawa hands him the ball. He steps into the circle. He says blood eclipse release, and then a huge cannonball launcher is formed. He puts the ball inside, aims up, and then pulls the trigger. It gets shot up into the air. It goes farther than anyone else's, but it evacuates. The entire class is hyped, saying, thank you, you've saved our dreams." Aizawa says, "You're lucky, problem child." Then whispers, just so Izuku could hear, even if you choose not to try, I would have. Even if you chose not to try, I would have expelled you and no one else. So you would have got your wish anyways. The next day, All Might bursts into the door, saying, I am here. Everyone's hyped, even Izuku, because he still has respect for All Might. Everyone goes into their hero costume. Izuku is wearing what is hopefully on screen, assuming I wasn't lazy. And speaking of that fire fit Izuku is wearing, this leads us perfectly into the sponsor of today's video, Kage March. It's the most minimalistic, comfortable clothing that you can find on the market. Some of the best. I personally love wearing it. Even wearing the Embrace the Shadows hoodie right now. So, go get it. It's amazing. Links in the description. And I believe you all will just love this piece of clothing. Personally, as I said, I'm wearing the Embrace the Shadow clothing, but the unisex tee is also good. I got that in my closet right now. It's awesome. They've got so many different colours, especially on the Kage wear quarter zip and the Kage wear crew neck. So go purchase it. It's got an amazing logo, sleek design, very minimalistic. Some of it's even vintage. And yeah, all I can say is go embrace that shadow. Anyways, let's go right back. The teams end up being Izuku and Bakugo as villains versus Kirishima and Todoroki as heroes. When in the bomb boom, neither of the two seem to care to come up with a plan. When starting, Todoroki freezes the entire place, and Deku and Bakugo get stuck. Izuku shoots a small bullet into the ground, while Bakugo just makes an explosion, and the two are now free, but they fall through the floor. Eventually, they land on the exact same floor Todoroki and Kirishima were on. Izuku falls first and Bakugo lands on him. And Izuku just throws Bakugo off. When the pair look up, they see Kirishima and Todoroki. Kirishima goes barging into them like a hardened bulldozer. But Bakugo and Izuku have unnatural chemistry, with Izuku saying blood eclipse release, and the both of them shoot Kirishima. Kirishima is knocked out, but Todoroki doesn't really seem to care. He freezes the floor, but the pair jump up, each hitting Todoroki with their quirks. Izuku summons a sniper, and Bakugo crouches down about to shoot a sweat bomb explosion at Todoroki. Izuku rolls on top of Bakugo's back and fires a shot at Todoroki mid-air. Well, not mid-air, but like upside down. But just before All Might can interfere, because it was about to go too far, Todoroki was about to freeze the entire place, like with an ice spike wall. Kirishima touches the ball. He seems to have woken up during the pair's combo move, and had instantly ran up to touch the bomb. All Might yells through the speakers, "Hero teams, win!" With that, Bakugo and Izuku are shocked. When they go out, All Might tells them they should have tied up Kirishima instead of purely focusing on the fighting aspect. Now time for the USJ. On the bus ride, when discussing who's the strongest, Izuku doesn't even come up in topic, just a passing mention that he has a cool quirk. But Izuku, being the confident guy he is, says he's the son of a pro hero. Obviously, he's the strongest. But then Momo says Todoroki's the son of number 2. So based on your logic, he's number 1, and you should be number 2. Izuku just sulks at the back of the bus after that, since Vlad King is the number 12 hero. When they arrive at the USJ, they walk in. 13 begins her speech, but then the League of Villains enter. Kirishima says, "Ooh, fake villains, dope." And 13 and Aizawa say they didn't hire any fake villains. Izuku and Bakugo go charging in, along with Kirishima following behind. Deku pulls out a knife in his costume and cuts his arm, saying blood eclipse release. He forms a short-ranged blood shotgun. The three of them nearly get their attacks off before being portaled to the ruin zone. The three start defeating all the villains with their quirk, and it was pretty easy, even developing some new combo moves in the moment. After they defeat the villains, they see Aizawa getting beaten by the Nomu. Bakugo and Kirishima want to rush in and help, but Izuku just doesn't care, and he starts walking back to the other students. He says, let the heroes do their jobs. Then Kirishima picks up Deku and throws him in the general direction of Aizawa. Deku says Blood Eclipse release and shoots the Nomu midair with AK-47. The other two, Bakugo and Kirishima, rush in to help. The three manage to handle themselves on the Nomu decently well, but they're still being overpowered. Then suddenly All Might comes and the rest of the arc basically goes the same. Now time for the UA Sports Festival. Bakugo still gives his speech because he came first. In the race, Deku just does just like he does as good as a normal human would do, because his quirk doesn't really benefit him. So this means Todoroki gets the 10 million headband. And then it's time for the cavalry battle. Ends up being Izuku, Bakugo, Kirishima and Kaminari together. They do decently well, even stealing the 10 million headband from Todoroki, with Deku landing a shot on one of the people holding Todoroki's finger. I would like to say it's Ida just cause, screw Ida. And then, in the fight with Shinso, before Shinso can even mind control Deku, Deku shoots him with a sniper saying, I don't want to be a hero, I just want to end this quick so I can go to the shooting range. Deku wins that match and now it's time for his match against Shoto. None of the secret love child stuff happens. In the match, Deku shoots at Todoroki after saying Blood Eclipse release, but Todoroki puts up an ice wall. Deku says Blood Eclipse release and summons a cannon to shatter that same ice wall, after Todoroki hits him with an ice floor trying to freeze him in place. But Deku just shoots the floor. Since Deku doesn't really care about Todoroki's backstory, he never gives him the usual fire speech. It's your quirk, not his. In the end, I see Todoroki winning this fight, and the rest of the arc happens as normal. After the UA Sports Festival, everyone chooses their hero names. Deku picks the name, the blood-only hero, Kishin. The name makes sense if you've watched Two-Gun Anki. Now is a good time to tell you to go watch Two-Gun Anki if you haven't watched it. Well, finish this video first. After they choose where they're gonna do their training, Deku goes to do his internship with his dad, Vlad King. But in this timeline, I want to say Vlad's agency is in Hosu, because I want to see a blood fight between Stain and Izuku. So Izuku gets there, he sees Ida about to die to Stain. He pings his phone so someone can come. In the fight, Izuku cuts his arm saying Blood Eclipse release and summons a submachine gun. He starts shooting at Stain, but this is the worst possible thing. One of the shots lands on Stain's knife, and Stain licks it. Now, this is where I had a huge problem deciding something. How long should only blood freeze someone for? Because Deku doesn't have a normal blood type, he has only blood. But I decided it should only freeze for 10 seconds. But this is enough time for Todoroki to come and freeze the alleyway. But the two of them are still losing the fight. Stain says to Deku that he's no true hero, and Deku just responds, since when did I ever want to be a hero? Then Deku says, Todoroki, I know you're about the fire side. I'm not an idiot. But if you don't want to have the life of me, Ida, and that random pro hero on your hands, you better use it. This causes Todoroki to activate his fire. Eventually, Shoto starts throwing fire at Stain, when Izuku starts shooting blood again, but this time being more precise about the area of his shots, shooting at where he predicts Stain will be before he's actually there. After they win, the three are still injured, but Vlad is proud of his son and Endeavor's happy that Todoroki is finally using his fire. Endeavor gets all the credit as usual. Now time for the final exam. It ends up being Deku and Tokuyami Dark Shadow versus his father, Vlad King. The two of them don't really work together. Deku and Tokuyami, Izuku goes straight in, shooting at his dad, but Vlad uses his own blood hardening quirk, where he ejects blood from his hand to capture someone, and he ends up capturing Deku with this, but it doesn't work. Well, he tries to capture Deku, Tokoyami comes trying to attack from behind with Dark Shadow, which takes Vlad's attention off Izuku. This gives Deku enough time to shoot his dad with a cannon shot. After Deku forms an AK-47 and starts shooting rapidly, Dark Shadow pushes Vlad closer into the bullets. Then when he's close enough, Deku says Blood Eclipse release and forms a shotgun and shoots his own dad directly in the back. Izuku and Tokoyami win the match. The thing after where he meets Shigaraki, like when shopping, never happens, because no one in 1A even has one for all. Mirio does. And now we have the forest training arc. Now time for the forest training exam. Izuku meets Kota, but doesn't really care about him. Izuku's training consists of learning how to make more complex blood weapons. Since I don't think Izuku would go with Kota, I'll just say a random character like Ida or Kirishima ends up fighting Muscular and they end up winning. Then Deku would fight Darby. He does alright, but he doesn't win. Bokugo is still captured. Then when Ida, Kirishima, Momo and Todoroki want to go save Bokugo, they want Izuku to come, but he doesn't really want to go. But after Kirishima blackmails him a bit, he agrees. The rest of the arc goes the same, if I'm being real. But when All Might says, now it's your turn, Deku doesn't feel any connection, thinking about it the same way everyone did, including Bokugo. The only person to understand what All Might meant was Mirio. For the provisional license exam, I don't really want to cover it. Just know Vlad tells Deku that if he doesn't pass, he's taken away his entire gun collection. So in the end, Deku passes. After this, they're meant to go to an internship and Deku still goes with Sir Nighthigh. He just gets let in because he doesn't have one for all and Mirio does. And Nighthigh doesn't force him to do the test thing. Then when him and Mirio are on patrol, Eri runs to them. Izuku wants to just shoot Overhaul instantly, but Mirio stops him. Then, in the raid, Deku and Mirio go after Overhaul. Nighthigh still becomes full of holes, like a donut on new levels. Mirio doesn't lose his quirk in this timeline, since he has one for all, and he is far stronger and better when it comes to control. Then, in the fight against Overhaul with Eri, Deku enters a new form, his berserk-only form. His blood surrounds his whole body, forms the most complex weapon he ever has. I'll put it on screen if I care. Then a bunch of shots on Overhaul he does. But Deku can't get put out of his only form, his berserk form. Eri rewinds him to turn him back to normal. Then I'm just going to skip over the school festival arc because no one cares about that. In the training between Class 1A and Class B, and remember, the teacher of Class 1B is Vlad King. So Vlad says to Aizawa, I hope you've taught him good. And Aizawa just responds with, wait and see, he's a problem child, but he's still one of my best. He may deny wanting to be a hero, but he does enjoy the work. Shinso is still there as always. Then, when in the fight with Deku, instead of unleashing Black Whip, he goes into an uncontrollable blood state that he used against Overhaul. This is his berserk form, his only berserk form. And the only way for him to be saved was by Shinso mind controlling him. It's basically all the same, but Vlad reprimands Izuku for losing control, since Vlad is the teacher of Class 1B, as I said earlier. Then Deku goes to train with Endeavor, where he learns how to lead an agency. Endeavor also teaches him how to make more tactical weapons for different situations, like a stealth gun or a missile for missions where you would need a missile. And then they still go have dinner at the Todoroki household, which is really awkward. forward. In this timeline, none of the Dark Deku stuff happens, since he never got one for all. But Mirio has a strong will and reveals to the entire of UA the truth of one for all. When the whole Star and Stripe stuff happens, she still dies. Then in the final fight where Mirio is fighting Shigaraki, Deku and Bakugo come in to help, but Bakugo starts bleeding out. Then Best Genius saves him like usual, but Bakugo now has his Quirk Awakening. But seeing this Quirk Awakening activates Izuku's own, the abilities of Kishin activate. The ability to create an explosive inferno of his blood. He's surrounded by a blaze of fire. Then he summons the most complex weapon he has ever made. Combined with Bakugo's awakening, they both take hits on Shigaraki. Every shot of blood is combined together to deal as much damage as possible. But eventually, Deku, Mirio, and Bakugo are all drained, yet Shigaraki is still standing. He's about to decay Mirio. Deku sees this. He yells, "No! Don't do it!" Deku barely has any only blood left. He yells out, "Blood! Eclipse release!" He forms that first ever pistol he made the day he got his quirk. He pulls the trigger. Only one bullet. No fire around it from Kishin. No berserk mode. Just pure speed and power. It goes straight through Shigaraki's stomach from the side. And before Shigaraki can regenerate, Deku says, "Lemillion, I know we are heroes, but he isn't savable. Kill him." Bakugo yells, Listen to Kishin. End this, Mirio." Mirio nods and says, "Well, looks like the younger generation is right for once." He makes his arm permeable. He punches straight through Shigaraki's heart. Obviously, nothing happens since he just goes through. He's permeable. But then he turns off permeability. His impermeability. Shigaraki's heart explodes from the inside. He falls over, eyes shut. That was the day the heroes run. And when watching the live stream playback, Vlad smiles hearing Izuku say, "Lemillion, I know we're heroes," because his son finally admitted it. He was a hero. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed that video. Took a while to script, and it's probably going to take a few days to edit. But yeah, love you all. Peace. Praise the Lord. Into this video.